Welcome to today's deep dive. We're headed to Mars, but not in the way you might think. We're diving into a story, a really cool story, written in simple English.
Yeah, so it's great for anyone learning the language. Simple words, simple sentences.
But a really fun story, even if you've been speaking English your whole life. Because, the story is about meeting Martians.
Exactly, and it's set in the future, 2050.
So we're talking spaceships, astronauts, the whole 9 yards.
And these astronauts are exploring Mars when they find something incredible.
Like what? Don't leave me hanging.
Signs of life. Well, possible signs of life. Definitely something not human-made.
Ooh, that's going to be a mix of exciting and scary.
Absolutely. And you see all those feelings, those reactions in the story, even though the language is so straightforward.
So it's good for learning about describing emotions in English.
Perfect for it. Like surprised, excited, afraid, all those basic words used in a way that really lets you feel what the astronauts are feeling.
That's so cool. So what kind of signs of life are we talking about? Footprints? Little green men?
Not quite. They find structures. It's like, imagine coming across a city, but a city unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Whoa, that's a great hook.
Yeah, and think about the words used to describe it. Even those simple words build a picture in your mind. Tall, round, shiny. It really gets your imagination working.
So we've got this mystery city on Mars. What happens next?
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say the astronauts find out they're not alone on Mars.
They meet the Martians. I knew it!
You got it. And even the way the Martians are described, it's so simple but effective. Blue skin.
Okay, blue skin, like the Smurfs or something.
Their large eyes, tall and thin.
I'm picturing something kind of graceful, maybe even a bit, elegant.
That's the beauty of it. Even with those basic words, you start to form an image in your mind.
So first contact, what was that like? Were the Martians friendly? Or were they ready to fight?
That's where it gets even more interesting, especially from a language learning perspective.
How so?
Because the story shows how much you can communicate even without a shared language.
Yeah. Like with body language.
Exactly. The Martians wave. They smile.
A smile's a smile, no matter what planet you're from.
Exactly. Those simple actions show that communication is possible, even when you don't speak the same language.
That's a pretty powerful message, especially when you think about it in the context of learning English.
Right. It's all about finding ways to connect, to understand each other.
So they're waving, smiling, but how do they actually start talking? That's what I want to know.
Well, the astronauts start trying to teach the Martians some basic English.
Really? Like what kind of words?
Simple stuff. Hello, friend, Earth.
It's almost like they're back in kindergarten or something.
It's a fun way to see how language can be used to build connections, even between humans and Martians.
And it's got to be helpful for anyone learning English, seeing those basic words used in a story like this.
Absolutely. It's like a little mini lesson built right into the story.
I bet there were some funny mix-ups, with those first attempts at communication.
Oh, for sure. But what's really cool is how fast the Martians pick up on things.
Yeah, it's like they're these incredible language learners.
And the story emphasizes that, which is great for anyone learning English right now. It shows how important repetition is.
Right. Practice makes perfect.
Exactly. And astronauts are super encouraging. They keep saying, good job, when the Martians get something right.
It's like those little moments of positive reinforcement. They make such a difference.
You can just see the Martians getting more and more confident with each new word.
It's kind of inspiring, honestly. Like anyone can learn a new language if they put their mind to it. Even Martians, apparently.
That's the spirit.
But it wasn't just a one-way street, right? The Martians had some things to teach the astronauts too, didn't they?
Absolutely. And this is where we get a glimpse into Martian culture. They have this word, Xena.
Xena, what's that mean?
It means friend.
Oh, that's cute.
So even with a simple story like this, you can start to explore different languages and cultures,
It's like peeking into another world.
Exactly. And it's not just language. They also introduce the astronauts to this glowing rock.
Glowing rock. Okay, now that's intriguing.
They call it a nalo.
Nalo. Got it. What does it do?
That's part of the mystery. The story doesn't say exactly, but they use words like bright, warm, powerful.
Okay, so it's not just some random rock.
Definitely not. It makes you want to know more.
It's like a little teaser, right?
It keeps you hooked.
So this Martian city, did they get to see more of it?
They do. The Martians invite them in, and the story paints this picture, just using simple words again. It's clean, quiet, and get this, they have floating cars.
Whoa, floating cars. That's so cool.
Right. Can you imagine no traffic on Mars?
So they're pretty advanced, huh?
Seems like it.
Did the story talk about, like, their technology at all?
It gives you little hints here and there, like it mentions Martian children playing, laughing.
So they have kids, just like us.
Yep. And it shows that even though they're from another planet, they still have some of the same basic experiences as humans.
That's kind of comforting, actually. Like, we're not so different after all.
Yeah, you find connections in the most unexpected places.
Did the astronauts get to tell the Martians about Earth?
They do. They show them a map of Earth, point out the continents, the oceans.
I bet the Martians were fascinated.
Oh, yeah. And in return, the Martians, they share what they know about their own solar system, the stars and planets around them.
So it's a real exchange of knowledge, like a two-way street.
Exactly. It's about learning from each other, sharing what you know.
And all of this is happening with pretty basic English, right?
That's what's so amazing. It shows that you don't need fancy words to talk about big ideas.
But I'm guessing the visit couldn't last forever.
Unfortunately not.
So how did they say goodbye?
Well, there's definitely sadness because they've made this connection, but there's also hope.
Hope for what?
Hope that they'll see each other again someday. It's bittersweet.
I bet. Any parting gifts?
Oh, yeah, remember those Nalo rocks, the glowing rocks?
The mysterious ones. What about them?
The Martians give the astronauts some to take back to Earth.
Wow, like a symbol of their friendship.
Exactly. It really shows how much trust they've built.
That's a pretty special gift. It's more than just a rock. You know, it represents something much bigger.
A connection between worlds.
So the astronauts, they head back home with these incredible stories and these glowing rocks.
Imagine being one of those astronauts coming back to Earth and a Nalo rock in your pocket.
I know. Talk about a show and tell. But I'm more curious about, like, how the rest of the world reacted. This wasn't just, oh, hey, we found some cool rocks on Mars. This was, we met Martians.
It was huge.
Wow.
And the story, it really captures that sense of wonder.
Like, how did it change things on Earth, knowing we're not alone?
It sparked this wave of curiosity. People all over the world, they wanted to learn more about Mars, about the Martians.
Like, did it inspire more space exploration, more research?
It's not explicitly stated in the story, but you can imagine, right? It's like suddenly anything felt possible.
I bet. Like, finding out there's intelligent life out there, that's got to change how we see ourselves, how we see the universe.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, what else is out there?
Right. It's just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what other discoveries are waiting for us?
And think about this, especially for our English language learners out there. This whole story, this amazing encounter, it's all told with pretty simple English.
That's a good point. It shows that you don't need a huge vocabulary to tell a powerful story to connect with people.
And for those learning English, it can be so encouraging to see that. Like, hey, I can understand this. I can be a part of this conversation.
Exactly. It opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Just like learning a new language opens up a whole world of possibilities. It lets you connect with different people, different cultures, even, who knows, maybe someday, different species.
Maybe. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, let's leave our listeners with a little something to think about. If we did meet another intelligent species, what do you think would be the biggest challenge? And what would be the most rewarding part?
That's a great question to ponder. And maybe, just maybe, someday, we'll be using English to communicate with those other species. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep imagining.